My name is Michelle Prochanek. I work here at NASA Johnson Space Center. My role in going to Mars is that I manage the food science research. And we are right now in the Space Food Systems Laboratory, or what we call the Food Lab.
I'm Mike Massimino. I'm an astronaut.
We're in the middeck of Space Shuttle Atlantis.
And I've flown 2 times in space. I got inspired to be an astronaut when I was 6 years old and I watched Neil Armstrong take the first steps on the moon. Food is really important because a lot of what we do in space requires us to be active, like doing a spacewalk. It uses up a lot of calories, it requires a lot of energy, and you want to be well nourished when you're doing that spacewalk so that you don't run out of energy. It could be anywhere 8 or 9 hours where you're without food while you're spacewalking. And if you're in a situation where you don't have any food, you get hungry, you get cranky, that's not good.
The food has to be safe. It also has to be nutritious. It has to be acceptable. How does it taste? How does it look? How does it smell?
And also it's nice to have things that kind of remind you of home. I like Italian food. I come from an Italian-American background, so I like eating things like lasagna and pasta.
And finally, we can't use up too many resources of the vehicle itself.
4, 3, 2, 1, and lift off.
So we can't make our food really, really heavy, or we can't make our food take up a lot of space. Every pound of food that we bring up costs a lot of money to launch out of Earth's orbit. We don't know yet when we're going to go to Mars. Probably the earliest is around 2035. The mission is going to be 6 months transit there, plus 6 months home. The crew would have to stay on the surface of Mars for 18 months. So the whole mission is about 2.5 years long.
All our food has to have a very long shelf life at room temperature. That's called shelf-stable food, meaning it can sit on your shelf without refrigeration and last for a very long time.
First, we have the pouch products. They are heated to sterilize them or make sure that they're very safe to eat.
Thermostabilized, thermo means heat, and stable obviously means that it is shelf stable.
I call these the middle aisle of the grocery store foods because typically what we're doing is just purchasing those foods and vacuum package these, which means we take out all of the oxygen and other air because oxygen and water is not food's friends. This is one of our freeze-dried products, and this food we dry down far enough so that there's not enough water for the bacteria to grow, and therefore they stay safe.
Here we've got Kevin getting ready to have lunch. That's peanut butter on a tortilla, one of our favorite things, or as he calls it, is peanut butter popsicle.
The fact that there is no gravity in our spacecrafts has steered the way that we have designed our food system.
I'm going to get my lunch, so I go to this locker here that says MS2 meals on it, and I pull it out, and it shows me all the food with the green dot. That's mine, that's in here, so I look up kind of what I want to eat. This is what I was looking for, ravioli.
Oh man, it was great.
Very tasty.
All we're doing in space is warming food or adding hot water to it or cold water depending on the product.
There it goes. It sits in there for a few minutes to get warm, and then I can eat it because I don't like it cold.
What we do here is get up on the ceiling, so it's much more convenient for our feet. We push onto this nozzle here, dial up 200 milliliters of water.
So the first thing is look at the label, and it tells them how much water to add. In this case, we would set our unit on 3 ounces, and the package would interface with the needle. It would automatically inject the quantity of water that has been selected. Then massage the food to mix the water in with the food.
Of course, it only takes astronauts a few minutes before they start playing with their food in space.
Mike, we thought you might want to try some food today. I know
Thank you.
you enjoy our food.
Oh, it's the best.
So what we have is chicken fajitas, freeze-dried macaroni and cheese that we've rehydrated, citrus fruit salad, and then we have a peach apricot drink.
2 of the most important things that you can have, that you want, an astronaut wants with all the time, is scissors and a spoon, especially because your food is packaged and you want to be able to eat at any time. You know, your food will float and can make a mess if you don't open it carefully. And food fights in space sound like fun, but it would not be that good because the stuff would float all over, and oh, it'd be horrible.
This is Sandy trying to pick up as many M&Ms in one go as she can.
You want to be very, very careful. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut carefully, lift up the flap. The gooiness of the food will give it some stability so it won't come shooting out of there. But that's really good. I like macaroni and cheese, a shrimp cocktail.
Our most popular item has been our freeze-dried shrimp cocktail.
Here's Frank DeWin, ESA astronaut, just demonstrating with the shrimp cocktail.
Our crew members report on orbit that they often like to have items that are a little bit spicier. They have so many things interfering with their ability to smell the food on orbit.
It has some horseradish in there, it'll really clear out your sinuses.
Well, this is a drink. This is peach apricot drink. And water can create a real problem in space. If it gets loose, there's no gravity to make it splatter, but it will float around as a bubble floating around, and if it hits something, it will splatter. And there's certain things you wouldn't want it to splatter on. So I have a lock on here. Can you see that little lock? Suck out any liquid that might still be there. So now, nothing's gonna get loose in the cabin. And because it floats around, I have this piece of Velcro, so I can Velcro this to the wall. Now that you've learned about how we eat in space and some of the challenges we face to eat in space, I would like to challenge you to come up with some ideas that can help us, whether it's a new way to eat, or package, or preserve food, or new types of food.
We're constantly trying to improve our food system.
Is there a better way to stow the food? Is there a better way to ship the food?
Good luck, kids.